3, 2, 1.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Hello to those of you who are feeling called to this reading in particular, mystery reading number 1177. My name is Elizabeth, and before getting into this reading, if you are a recurring viewer, you enjoy my work, and you would like to help support it, feel free to do so by sticking around and hitting that subscribe button down below, and ringing the notification bell next to it if you feel called to. If you do feel called to subscribe and stick around, welcome, and thank you very much for your support as well as your presence during this reading. In the reading previous to this one, I felt connected to the song lyrics 705 at Sunset Drive. And I'm feeling connected to it again. So maybe if that number or those lyrics somehow resonated for you, it could be a sign that this reading is also meant for you. But starting this reading off with interpreting the number 1177 like usual, the number 1 is about having trust and faith. This could be in yourself, the universe, a person, a certain situation. Having a little more trust and a little more faith in one way or another may be helpful for you, or maybe even important or essential in some way. The number 7 is about expanding your awareness and your consciousness, becoming wiser and more spiritual because of that wisdom. I'm remembering this realization that I had recently about, I don't know if this is a religious thing, but it did resonate with me, about how basically it was saying the wise ones should be kings or queens or leaders in a position of power. I'm just really thinking about it right now. I just feel like for thousands of years it's kind of the lesson we've all collectively been learning. Being careful and aware of who we choose to put in power and to lead the way forward. There could be something here, especially if you're American, as an American myself, about always looking up. Is the best way that I can describe it. And I just saw a sign to trust everything happens for a reason with the number 3, 4, 5. I do find that movie, Don't Look Up, a little suspicious, I'm not gonna lie. There's just something here about being really distracted by technology and our cell phones in particular. The number 222 could be significant for you. And you yourself could have a platform. Maybe you like video games. But the number 2 is about being mindful about how your choices, how you invest yourself, especially if there is a significant person or situation on your mind. I do think collectively, though, that this isn't just an American thing. I think in general we all need to be more willing to protect our freedom, our voices individually and collectively, but it all starts at home. I am seeing in my mind's eye an index card that I pulled, I think in the reading before this one. It was the same one that said home on it. Are you protecting your freedom and your voice at home to contribute to the need for all of us to protect our freedom, and I want to say our peace, collectively? Now I'm feeling connected to the idea of keeping the peace. If you're keeping the peace to protect yourself, I totally understand that, honestly. But if you're just keeping the peace because you're uncomfortable with change, I would question that. And ask yourself if it's really worth it, both for yourself and for the people around you, and the kind of impact that you have on those around you. Maybe there needs to be more of a balance here in one way or the other, to, in terms of like how much you give to yourself and how much you give to others. How much you take from yourself and how much you take from others. How much you let others take or give to you, There's really something here about give and take here. And since there are 2 1s and 2 7s, at this point, I think these messages are equally significant. Having trust and faith, and allowing yourself to learn and grow, to become more awake, more conscious, more spiritual, and wise. And this could be a particularly significant message for someone who actually wants to be in a position of power or of influence. And given what I've already talked about, maybe you're already in a position of power or influence, and it makes it even more important to trust yourself, have faith in yourself, be open to learning, to accountability, to calling out the BS in a realistic way, of course. A realistic and safe way. Adding up these numbers, 1 + 1 is 2. Pretty sure this adds up to 7 because I thought about it before. That's why I said 1 and 7 felt equally significant at this point. But 1 + 1 is 2. And 2, feeling really distracted right now. And 2 + 7 is 9. 9 + 7 is 16. And 1 + 6 is 7. So, in terms of between having trust and faith, and learning something, feels like leaning more towards learning something, becoming wiser, or tapping into the wisdom that you already have. Overall, this number, as I've said a lot, has encouraged you to have trust and have faith. Be open to learning something, to becoming more conscious and aware and awake about something. Be open to becoming wiser and more spiritually connected, more connected with your instincts, your intuition, and maybe even your spirit guides. Yeah, especially if there's a real focus here on learning something or waking up to something, really seeing something. And this could be something about yourself, someone around you, some situation, something that's happening in the world. There's an opportunity here to wake up, either for the first time to something, or in a deeper way than you already are right now. So, as I've been saying for the last couple of readings lately, there are a lot of cards On the table in front of you, we have the Secrets of Tarot cards. I just wrote on what things that I felt called to write. It's the same here with these index cards. So I am going to start with the tarot card, which I'm really curious to see what's going to come out here because of what we had been talking about with the number 1177. Maybe the reading 1174 could have been significant for you. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I feel like there's a lot for me to say about this card. We have the Seven of Swords here. It does say a lot of things. It says deception, lies, selfish, manipulative, dishonest, spirit, wisdom, explore. It also has the zodiac signs of Libra, Air, Aquarius. I am feeling connected to the earth signs for some reason, like Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. I'm also feeling connected to Libra and Sagittarius. Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini are the air signs on this card. So there is the element of air here as well. The artist of this card, for some reason I wanted to say the word joke. Is there a significant joke here? And maybe it's not as funny as someone thought it was. It says plans, hopes, wish card, highest, and minor arcana. You may hear the baby crying in the background. Usually when that happens, I see it as part of the reading. Being connected to your inner child. There's something here that your younger self was upset about or bothered by. Maybe you felt like your own freedom or your own voice was robbed from you. You take that however it resonates, if it does at all. Yeah. What made this Seven of Swords really interesting to me is the number 7. Because now it's not just a little bit of more focus here on learning something. Now it's a lot more clear than what it already was. And whatever you're learning, it has to do with truth. For some reason I wanted to say trash, and then I felt connected to the Italian word spuntatura. So this makes me think that your ancestors or some past loved one, they're seeing somebody in your life who is trash. They really don't like somebody. Whatever you're learning here has to do with manipulation, deception. That's why it actually feels really, really important here for you to actually trust yourself and have faith in yourself. And as soon as I said that, I looked at the timer and I saw the number 333. Which that number is about expressing yourself and using your voice in whatever way you feel called to, towards another person, towards yourself, journaling or meditating, or, like I said, whatever way feels right for you. It's also about taking an opportunity right now and always to heal and to grow. And this could be through using your voice, or it could be in another way. But if there is something that you want to call out here, something that doesn't sit right with you, you kind of want to hold on to that this feels off type of feeling, I encourage you to do that if it feels safe to, and it genuinely feels right to. Since this is a general reading, I do want to mention that this dishonesty, manipulative type of card, this deceptive card, could be representing somebody else, multiple people, somebody else in power, somebody else in the world, in your life. Or it could be representing yourself, ways that you may be lying to yourself. And I feel like this comes up in the form of self-doubt. You know, negative self-talk about what you're actually capable of, what's possible for you, and honestly, what you're worth. You know, there may be a real need here to bring more love for yourself into the situation for one reason or another. But the card that I pulled from these box of cards, wow, have two sides. And I said wow because I looked at the other side and it says self-hate. So that message about needing to bring more love for yourself into the situation, that is absolutely true for somebody here. And on the other side we have my future and my happiness are worth fighting for. This card is basically telling you not to give up and to not be complicit. It's okay to expect more and to want more out of other people, out of your life. Of course, don't be overly selfish, but I'm talking about things that you just deserve. Like basic respect or fairness, something that we all deserve. Your future and your happiness are worth fighting for. The only way that you can control the future is by being mindful and taking control over what is happening right now. The same applies to your peace. If you feel out of control mentally, emotionally, spiritually, this is a great opportunity here for you to control yourself, to put it bluntly, in terms of how you think, your perspectives, the way you look at yourself, other people, the world, certain situations, controlling your emotions, but not in a way where it's suppressive, but in a way where it's not putting a distorted lens over all of your decisions. I always say whenever you have a decision to make, especially if it's a big decision, don't make it when you're feeling strong emotions, whether it's happiness, sadness, anger, euphoria, whatever. Just don't make decisions when you're feeling intense emotions. That's my advice. Anyway, you can do whatever you want. But just really feeling connected to the number 7 here. It's kind of crazy. There is something definitely to learn here. Let's go ahead and wrap up this reading. I think the reason why I said I'm feeling really connected to the number 7 because I saw that we're 7 minutes into this second segment that I'm recording. But let's go ahead and wrap up this reading by drawing out this index card. Very interesting. It says, know when to speak. So there was already something here about using your voice. And when I said, only if it feels safe or right to, I really, really mean that for whoever resonates with the idea of knowing when to speak. This is basically a message here to be careful with the information that you share. Be careful with sharing what you know, what you have. There's something here about controlling the awareness about something to protect yourself. Overall, this reading has really encouraged you to have trust and faith and even a little bit of self-love. Know your worth. So I think it will make it easier to know how to use your voice and when to use your voice. There is very clearly something here important to learn, and I do think it's wrapped up in truth and deception and trusting yourself, your instincts, your intuition, your ability to see through something, to have good judgment. Yeah, it feels like there's an opportunity here to either trust your judgment, as it already is, because you know you're seeing things clearly, or to improve your judgment, because you still have questions about how clearly you're actually seeing things. It's like a feeling where there's not a resolution. Something is feeling unresolved when it comes to how you're seeing something. In terms of like how you think about yourself, it's kind of hard to describe. But the cards on the table are pointing to somebody who is being selfish, manipulative, dishonest. This could be you, but it could definitely be somebody else too. It could be both. Only take what resonates there. Regardless of what's happening, whoever's being dishonest or manipulative, know that you are worth fighting for. And it starts with being present, right? Being present and being intentional with your decisions and your voice. There could definitely be a real need here to be mindful of what you share, either to protect yourself or to make sure that conversations are constructive and not just distracting and an opportunity to fight or argue or one-up somebody or anything like that. This reading is really encouraging you to take the path of learning and growing, as well as self-love, it feels like. And I just saw the number 111 on the timer, which confirms and reinforces those messages before about having trust and faith, whether it's in yourself, another person, another situation, universe, some higher power you believe in. Having more trust and more faith, allowing yourself to learn, to grow, and to love. I feel like they can be really helpful things to do to help keep fighting and keep protecting yourself. And whatever else means the most to you, or whoever else.